Hey guys, welcome back to College Success Mastery Virtual Summit 2020, Day 2, and this is the last session for this weekend, an insight into UK medical school admissions. I'm Joey Ban from Edu Experts, your host at this summit. Well, I often get inquiries from students who are interested to pursue a medical degree overseas, but they're not sure how to go about it. If you're looking to enter the exciting world of medicine, Stephanie Jiang reveals all you need to know about pursuing your dreams in the UK. Stephanie works as the International Student Recruitment Manager for University of East Anglia in the UK. Being an international student herself in the United States many years ago, she understands firsthand what students and parents look for in choosing universities overseas and what kind of student experience they are seeking. In this session, Stephanie will share her knowledge on admissions to medical schools in the UK, where to go, how to cope with both studies and student life, and what preparation is required for prospective students. So are you guys ready for Stephanie? If you are ready, type ready, ready, ready in your chat box now. Okay, so again, as a reminder, if you're watching this from Facebook, you can type your questions in the comments section. If you are watching this on Zoom, you will be typing your questions in the chat section of Zoom. Okay, without further ado, please help me to welcome Stephanie Jiang. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Joey. Hi, everybody.
Hey, hi, Steph. How are you? Hi. Welcome on board, and thank you for being on this summit. Yeah, so good to have you here. So we've got we've got participants coming in from Malaysia, from Japan, and from Mongolia. So I'll hand over the session to you, and I'll come back on screen for the Q&A later after your session. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Joey. I'm going to share my screen now. Can everybody hear me and see my screen? Just want to make sure before I start, I just want to make sure that everybody can see my screen and hear me properly. Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. Good evening, good morning from the UK, and good evening to all of you guys in Asia. My name is Steph, and I am the recruitment manager for University of East Anglia. Just a little bit of a background for myself. So I'm Chinese, so I'm from Shanghai, and I'm so glad to be speaking to you guys in Asia, in Malaysia, in Japan. I've never been to Mongolia, but I'd love to go sometime and meet students and parents and counselors from all over the world. This is part of my job, and I'm so glad to be having the opportunity to present to you and to share a bit of knowledge of mine in terms of studying medicine in the UK. And I would like to present to you one of the best places for students to study, prepare for medicine, going to medical schools in the UK. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about a little bit about the UK education system. I understand that a lot of you some of you guys are students and some of you guys are education counselors, and some of you know the UK education system very well. But just to sum up, so after the 10 years of basic education, students normally go on to the 11th year of GCSE. So you students normally study GCSE for 2 years. And then after GCSE, so they go on to year 12 and 13, which is what we call A-levels. So A-levels usually take 2 years. The first year we call it AS, and second is A2 level. And after students complete their A-levels, they go on to university. And as you know, the undergraduate degree in a university in the UK normally takes 3 years. And then after their undergraduate degree, students can go on to study a master's degree. Sometimes, usually it takes 1 year. However, there are some specialist degrees, for example, medicine or pharmacy, that takes longer than 3 years. Now, in the UK, students usually take their GCSE exams and then A-level exams. And usually, some students look at studying A-level, and some students might not necessarily do so. So instead of going on to A-levels, they could be studying IB, or they could be studying technical college, etc. But if a student achieves high GCSE grades, for example, A stars and A's, that means A-level study could be a possibility for these students in the UK or international students as well. So some of our international students come from IGCSE background, and if they achieve high grades, that could mean that A-level study is a possibility for these students. Now, at A levels is very different to the UK, to the other education system that we might find in the rest of the world. For example, the United States or China or Russia, etc. At A level, students usually just pick 3 to 4 subjects. So they don't study a wide variety of subjects like they did at GCSE level. So at year 12 and 13, students are already focusing on the subjects and areas that they're good at, and they're already preparing for the degree they're going to study at university. So here you can see a table of possible undergrad degrees that students may choose and what subjects they should be studying as A levels in order to prepare for these university degrees. So for example, if you want to study medicine, therefore you have to study subjects like biology, chemistry, math, or physics. If a student would like to study business, for example, then studying math and economics or a language subject at A levels is essential. And then likewise, if a student would like to study engineering as an undergraduate degree at university, then universities will be looking at your A levels in math, physics, or further math. Now, if you would like to study something more humanity, for example, law, then you are required to study an essay-based course subjects such as English or history. And likewise, if you would like to study journalism, then having A levels in English is essential. So as you can see, A levels, there are only students usually choose 3 to 4 subjects, and the subjects are already focusing on the area they would like to pursue in the future. So that's the main difference between UK education and the rest of the world, because students at year 12 and 13 are already finding their passion and interest, and they're studying, they're focusing, and on these subjects that they're going to further develop in their university degree. Therefore, it is possible for students to complete an undergraduate degree within 3 years, as opposed to in America, 4 years, because for the first year, they study a wide range of different subjects, and then they go on to focus at year 2, okay? Now, having talked about studying medicine and what A levels you need to study in order to pursue a medical degree, let's talk about a little bit about the medical schools in the UK and the facts about medical schools in the UK. Now, did you know that there are only 33 medical schools in the UK that are recognized by the General Medical Council? So there are many, as you know, there are many universities in the UK where you can pursue an undergraduate degree from. However, even though their medical schools are always based in the university, a part of the university department, but there are only 33 medical schools that you can study medicine from. And more importantly, as I know that the majority of our audience are international students, and in order to study medicine in the UK, it's quite difficult. And as especially education counselors will know that it's very, very difficult. The hurdles are a lot. There are a lot of hurdles in terms of medical school application, because for the simple fact there is a cap for international students. There's a cap for for how many years, how many students can a medical school admit per year, but more importantly, there's a cap for international students. So every year, you're looking at only 15 to 16 international students per university. Therefore, if you multiply by 33, this university medical schools in the UK are not admitting that many international students per year. That's why it makes the percentage of a chance of gaining a place only around 1%. So without additional support, without knowing what medical schools are looking for, international students, even if you get straight A stars in your A-level subjects, it is still unlikely for you to be successfully gaining a place at a medical school because you're lacking the additional support, because you do not know what medical schools are looking for. So just a little bit of requirement for medical school. Usually they will need, for your subjects, they will need straight A's, if not A stars. Biology and chemistry subjects are required. So if you want to pursue a medical degree, you have to study biology and chemistry. Medical schools do not usually look beyond A levels, so they don't necessarily accept any other education background other than A levels. That's why a lot of our international students, after completing the equivalent of GCSE or IGCSE or their home traditional education background, they come to the UK to study A levels. Medical schools usually need to look at your admissions test results, so which means UCAT or BMAT. So there are about 26 medical schools will be looking at UCAT and BMAT. The biomedical admissions test is required by about 5 universities. So depending on what university you are applying to, you will be taking the respective admissions test, which means there's another. So the test usually happens about September each year, which means after your AS year, you will be taking that test, which means that within the first year of A-level studies, not only are you studying hard for these subjects, you're also preparing for these admissions tests. Medical schools also need to look at your personal statement. They want to know what kind of person you are, what experience you have in terms of your work and a study. And inevitably, they will be looking at some work experience. It doesn't have to be work experience necessarily at a hospital or a care home, etc. I mean, it's great if you have that kind of experience, but more importantly, I think the university medical schools look at your work experience to assess your knowledge of medical careers, assess your dexterity, your empathy, your communication skills, and the team working spirit that you may or may not possess, okay? So a lot of you wonder, how long does it take to attain a medical degree? It is a long journey, frankly. So after 2 years of A-levels, you will be spending about 5 years in a medical school. Like I said, usually undergraduate takes about 3 years, but for medicine, it takes 5 years. And after 5 years of successfully completing this medicine degree, you get an MBBA degree, you will then go on to the foundation training as a foundation doctor. So you will be getting paid for about 2 years. And then they go on to your specialty training, your specialist training. So if you want to become a GP, a general practitioner within the NHS system in the UK, you're looking at 3 more years of specialty training. And then if you want to become other specialists, for example, a radiologist, a cardiologist, OBGYN, etc., then you're looking at 3 to 8 years of other specialty. But it does pay off. So let's look at how much you'll be earning if you were to get a medical degree, complete your foundation training, and become a doctor in the UK and working for the NHS, the National Health System. So With the foundation training, you'll be earning about 28 to 32,000 pounds. When you're going on to your specialist training, you'll also be getting paid. So you can be getting paid up to 50,000 pounds a year. As a GP, you will be based in a GP's office instead of hospitals, and you'll be basically based in the community. You'll be a wider sort of a doctor in a wider field. Therefore, you'll be looking at earning about 58 to 88,000 per year. For specialist doctors, as I was saying, you'll be making 40 to 74. And once you successfully become a consultant, for example, you are a cardiologist or OBGYN or radiologist, then you are looking at making up to 107,000 pounds. And so up until 2019, I think the average consultant in the UK makes about 127K. And if you were to do more consultant work or teaching at medical schools, and then you'll be looking at more earnings. So it is a very, lucrative sort of field to be studying in and working in, and let alone the rewarding feeling. I know a lot of students want to become doctors because you know that you're very passionate about medicine, you're passionate about helping people. So not only do that passion gets paid off in terms of monetary reward, you're also getting this feeling of feeling fulfilled, and you've helped people, you've saved people's lives and changed their lives. The top earners in the UK are as the following. So plastic surgery, some of you might not be surprised by that. Trauma and orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, one of the top earners in the medical field. Otolaryngology. When I saw that word, I did not know what that means. If you wonder what that means, it's ear, nose, and neck doctor. And cardiology. So these are the top earners in the medical field in the UK. Now, next up, I would like to talk to you a little bit about this very unique program that we have based on the Inter-University of East Anglia. And this is one of the most successful A-level program that you can study in the UK that prepares students for pursuing a medical degree in the UK. And I would like to show you what extra support that you need, that we provide at Newton A-level program, that you, even if you don't necessarily come to the UK to study A-levels, if you're happy studying A-levels in a different country or in your home country, I'd like to share with you what extra support you need, you could be seeking when you apply for a UK medical school. So I'd like to show you some of the success that we have at the Newton A-level program. So we are the only A-level program that is based on a university campus. So which means we're not in a boarding school. We are based on the university campus, and we have full access to the university facility, including the hospital that's based near the university. So this is, I think just earlier this month, our Newton students, we had only 40 students in the 2020 cohort, and this is the success grades that they have achieved. So 99% of their grades are A star to C. More importantly, 50% of all grades were A star, and 4 A stars is the most common set of results. So this is fantastic results. A lot of our students have gained place to different medical schools, as well as top UK universities such as LSE, Imperial, UCL, for different undergraduate degrees to pursue their dreams. So just another example, as I was saying, that only 1% of, so for international students to successfully gain a place at a UK medical school, the success rate is about 1%. However, we're a small program, but 92% of our students who are recommended for medical schools in 2018 successfully gained a place. Now, the Newton program is a program for international students only. We recruit about 40 students a year. We are very rigorous in terms of our recruitment of students. However, all of our students are international students, and a lot of our students, about 1/3 or half of our students, are aiming for medicine. And as you can see, 92% of them gain a place. So this is a fantastic result. So these are some of the destinations some of our students have gained a place at. So including medicine at UCL, UEA, which is where our program is based on. And we also have students going to Bristol, Aberdeen, and some of them went to medical schools in their home countries or other countries in Europe, for example, Ireland. So we support students in terms of our medical schools application should they wish to study medicine in a different country other than UK as well. Now, some of the expert guidance that we give students in terms of their medical school application. First of all, we prepare rigorously for students for their UCAT and BMAT admissions test. A lot of our teachers are experienced examiners, so they understand what other university application examiners are looking for in terms of their students' personal statement and in terms of their interview as well. We are based on the university, and the university is next to the university hospital, the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital, which is a large research hospital based in the region. And every year we provide opportunities for work placement for our students to have a week-long experience at the university hospital. Now, a lot of our students know that they want to study medicine, but then sometimes it's a bit different when you actually experience firsthand what a doctor's life is like. And a lot of our students spend that week at the university hospital. They learn at different departments of the hospital, and it reaffirms them their dreams of becoming doctors. Sometimes they might change their mind, but never mind. But a lot of times they reaffirms their dream of becoming a doctor. More importantly, they would have a first-hand experience to understand what part of medicine, what department in a hospital they would like to be working at, what type of specialist they would like to do. More importantly, this experience is very valuable in terms of their interviews at the medical school, as well as their personal statements. We also conduct mock medical interviews with our students. Now, in terms of medical application, students will go through a traditional interview or MMI, what we call a multiple mini interview at the medical school, depending on which medical school they're applying to. Now, the multiple mini interviews is where our students sit in front of different interviewers, and they will be interviewed for different subjects. For example, why do you would like to study medicine? What do you know what do you know about the NHS system? And they would test your empathy, your communication skills, and they will be looking at your skills in reasoning and problem solving. But if you've never had that kind of experience, it'd be very, very intimidating. Whereas at Newton, you will be getting the mock medical interview, so you're fully prepared for this type of interview. We also teach students first aid experience, and students will be getting the presentations from senior medical academics because we're on the university campus. The university has its own medical school. Our students will have the opportunity to sit in the medical school and listen to academics speaking about their experience and to watch their presentations. And this is something that the traditional A-level boarding schools do not have. We also, because every year we send students to different medical schools, and every year we have alumni visiting Newton. So our current students will be listening to the guidance and advice from the alumni who graduated from Newton, who are now studying at medical schools, and to listen to their experience and see what it is like. So it's more of like a peer system. We also take students on supervised visits to medical school open days. So another great thing about studying A-levels in the UK is that you will be able to access to these different open days at different universities. So make up your mind what university, which medical school is the best choice for you. And we also provide students opportunity to discuss their career prospects with senior medical academics at Newton or at the university. We also provide a lot of extracurricular activities and competitions for their CV enhancement. So we take students onto field excursions. We take students to the Crest Award competition. We take students to the Olympiad competitions. A lot of our students have won gold in their chemistry and physics Olympiad, etc. And these can go onto your CV and enhance your experience, and you can talk about that in terms of your teamwork experience, etc. at your medical school interviews. And more importantly, at Newton is something that traditional A-level schools do not have, is that for our medical students, every week they will have an extra hour of medical ethics classes. Now, the medical ethics classes will cover topics such as what is the NHS system like, and they will cover, so we will get students to have debates and discussions on topics such as human rights, beneficiaries, and how that works, and abortion, what's your opinion on abortion, etc. So our students at the age of 16, 17 are already exposed to these type of topics, and they know very well how to conduct that kind of discussion if they were to ask that question at a medical school interview. And throughout the medical ethics classes, a lot of our students make up their mind on what part of the specialist doctor they would like to become, or sometimes they may think, actually, I do not, I've changed my mind, I would like to study pharmacy, I would like to study biomedicine because I would like to do more research in terms of drug discovery instead of actually becoming a doctor, and that's completely fine because we support that, that type of aspiration, and we support the students' application to these kind of degrees at university as well. So as I mentioned before, these are the weekly workshops that for medical ethics lessons that we give students, and we also conduct practical role-playing experience with them. And this is a type of problem-based learning. And as you know, some of you might know that at university level medical schools, some of them use the traditional lecture style learning, but a lot of now have up to problem-based learning. So it's a much more practical and hands-on type of learning experience. Our students can meet with the current staff and students from the University of East Anglia and their medical schools. I'd just like to quickly go through some of our successful candidates for the UK and world medical schools. So we have Napat here from Thailand, who has received 4 straight A stars, and he has gone to the medical schools at UCL. We have another student here from Thailand who's now studying medicine in her home country. And she has actually got the highest grades in the world in her AS and A2 exams, which is stellar results. We have Mason from South Korea who's gone to UEA. A lot of our students do decide to study, to continue their study in UEA because they love the city and the university so much. We have another student here from Egypt who's gone to study in medicine in UEA as well in 2017, and Harold from Hong Kong now progressed to medicine in Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. We have a Russian student here who's now in Newcastle, and another Russian student who studied dentistry in University of Manchester. Tammy is now studying, Tammy actually was one of our earliest Newton students who progressed to medicine at her home country. So she studied at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, and now she is a qualified doctor. So she's practicing in Hong Kong. Just a little bit about the cost. Now, I talked about the earning prospects of becoming a doctor. Now, you also probably wonder how much it would cost to study medicine. Usually at A-level, you're looking at, this is quite typical in terms of A-level, studying A-level in the UK in general. So you're looking about a little bit under 60 grand for 5-term, and then 70,000 for a 2-year 6-term program. So that is tuition and accommodation included. And if you then progress to medical school, as you know, it's a 5-year program. So you're looking at about £31,000 per year at a medical school. We do provide very generous scholarships for hardworking students. I know a lot of you listening, you're aspiring medical students, and I know that you probably have received very good GCSE or IGCSE results. And when we speak to prospective Newton students, we always look at your transcripts, and if your grades are great, you have great IELTS results, and that we also conduct an interview with them. So students can earn up to 50% of scholarship at Newton, which is very, very generous. Next up, I just wanted to show you a little bit about the Newton Into Center, as well as the university and the city where we're at. So for some of the prospective students here listening at this presentation, you will have some idea, if you would like to study in Newton, you'll have some idea what it looks like to live in Norwich and study at this university. So very quickly, this is your bedroom. So all our students will have their own bedroom, a shared kitchen with other Newton students. We have our own cafe where you will be able to have hot, fresh food 3 times a day. Our students will have a meal plan, which means they'll eat 2 times a day at the university. At the center, we have our own resource center where you'll be able to study and have access to a lot of textbooks and resource. But on top of that, you will also be able to access to the university level library, which houses 800,000 journals and books. Now, this is another thing that a traditional boarding school does not have the resource of. We have a university level facility in terms of our science labs, because you'll be studying subjects such as biology and chemistry. You'll be spending a lot of time at the science labs. We also have social welfare support, so make sure that your spare time is fulfilled. So we'll take you on trips and field trips and excursions, and making sure that you make friends with other international students and give you the opportunity to visit different parts of the UK. This is where we are based. This is the University of East Anglia. We call it Home of the Wonderful because, as some of you guys might recognize, the building here in the middle is the iconic Avengers HQ. So the Avengers movie, their headquarters in New York, was actually filmed here. We are a top 25 UK university, world top 200, and it's a TEF Gold university. And in terms of research, we also have the research excellence framework as well. So the university is very, very renowned for their research excellence, especially in the science and engineering fields. So we have over, at the university, we have our own Norwich Medical School. So we have over 300,000 researchers and 60 million of ongoing research conducting at the University Medical School. And 80% of all of the research at the school rated as world leading or internationally excellent. Cutting edge facilities, this is a 31 million pound invested science building based at the university. So if the students were going to the University of East Anglia, they have full access to the science building. And we have productive partnerships with within the Norwich Science Park. Now, the Norwich Science Park is one of the top industrial leading science parks in Europe. We're just behind London, Oxford, and Cambridge, actually. Now, within the science park, we have the university, we have the Intu Centre, we have the Norwich and Norfolk Hospital, we have the Quadram Institute, John and Ness Centre, which they specialize in food research, DNA and genome research. So the science park provides a lot of partnerships with the university, and this is where our students can potentially seek employment and internships at. Something interesting about the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital, as I was saying, that this is one of the biggest hospitals in the region in terms of research and medical cure. So I was just reading on Twitter this morning that the university hospital conducted one of the world's first operation on a cancer patient with their in-hospital robot. And I think it just happened yesterday. It was completed yesterday. You can read on Twitter. And as you can see from this piece of news, that the university hospital is very much world top leading in terms of research, and is the world first operation on a cancer patient with the assistance of a robot, which significantly decrease the amount of time the patient needs in terms of recovery. Here are some pictures of the university learning space. You have the 24/7 library. So there's a whole building of research and learning materials and learning space that is dedicated to students. And as an A-level student, you will have the access to the library as well. We have the university itself is like a little town, so students will have access to shops, bookstores, bank, and we also have the University Medical Center based right next to the Intu building. Now, this is what we call a GP, a general practitioner's office. And the Career Central is also based at the university, where our students can use their guidance in terms of their CV building and their personal statement and their job applications. The university has award-winning sports facilities. A lot of our students do enjoy spending time and pursuing sports passions and making sure they're healthy and fit. And they also join in a lot of the competition, the collegiate competition within the university, representing Intu. And the building that I talked about, the Avengers HQ, is called the Sainsbury Center of Visual Arts. And this is an art gallery and museum based on the university campus. And if you're a student who loves art and enjoyed history, and this is somewhere that you can spend some time on. So it's not many universities can boast a museum and art gallery on their campus. And as you can see, we are based in Norwich. It's a beautiful, tranquil place. This is the university campus. It's practically like a park, and it's great for studying because you are distraction-free. The city on your doorstep, as in our campus is only about 15 minutes by bus to the to the city center. And the city is one of the best cities in terms of retail in the UK. We have our open door market, the biggest in the UK, and we have very unique cobbled street and unique individual shops in lanes where you can enjoy some retail therapy. We have world food, and we have all the facilities that you might need in terms of your study and life. Now, Norwich is a small town compared to London or compared to Kuala Lumpur or Tokyo, but this is a great place for international students to study, and you will be able to have access to anything that you might need, but again, you're distraction free. So find us online. These are our social media and handles, and this concludes my presentation. Now, I hope that I have provided you with ample knowledge of UK medical school, how the admissions process work and what they look for in a candidate. And I've given you a little bit of information on the program that you might be interested in terms of preparing your medical school. I'd like to take questions from now, if you have any.
All right, Steph, hey, hi, thanks for the session.
No problem.
Yeah, you can end your screen sharing so we can see you.
Yes. Sorry.
All right, so students and parents, if you have questions, you can type them in the chat box now. A question from me, Steph. Can you tell us more about your scholarship? How do students qualify for the 50% scholarship?
Okay, great question. So in terms of scholarship, there is an application process. So when a student applies for Newton, you're automatically enrolled in the scholarship process. So we look at your GCSE or IGSE or equivalent in terms of your grades. So we're looking at the relevant grades. So usually there's science-based grades, for example, biology, chemistry, physics, and math. And for each A's or equivalent, you'll be getting a 5%. So that constitutes 20% of the scholarship. Now the rest of the 30%, we look at your IELTS. So the entry requirement for Newton, if you would like to study medicine after Newton, is 6. And if you receive 6.5 and above in your IELTS, you will be automatically getting 10%. If you do not need an IELTS to study in the UK, then we will need you to write an English essay for us, and then we will be assessing on your essay. Another 20% comes from an interview, usually with me or with one of my colleagues. So I will be interviewing the candidates, and I'll be asking them questions about their dreams and their quality, etc. And then another 10%, we need you guys to do an online math test.
All right, I think we've got a question in the chat box. Can you see the chat, Steph?
Yes, Michelle, as I understand, can I participate in the 6-year six-term program, I believe, when you're in 11th grade? So once you complete 11th grade, which is the IGCSE, GCSE or equivalent, you will qualify for the A-level program at Newton. So yes, but you can start applying while you're in 11th grade, but we will need your final transcript after your 11th grade, if that makes sense.
Yep, okay. Steph, can you comment on the difficulty level of getting into, for example, programs like dentistry and veterinary science compared to medicine in the UK?
The difficulty level is about the same, because as you know that the preparation for medical schools is very rigorous, and they're very, very selective. The only difference is because not every medical schools in the UK will have a dentistry or veterinary department. So your choices are quite limited. But we have students going to dentistry in the past. I think last year we had a student going to Queen's University in Belfast to pursue dentistry. And as you can see that University of Manchester has a dentistry department.
All right, thank you. There are a couple more questions there.
Yeah, so I have 9A Haru. Before attending the medical school, are we expected to master some skills? Well, depending on what skills we're talking about. So for example, the knowledge of the NHS system. So if you were to study in a UK medical school, that's not required because you will be taught that knowledge during your A-level program. However, some of the skills you master or you develop throughout many years of education. For example, your team working spirit. So that's why one of the questions I always ask when I interview students, have you done any projects within a team? And I like to know how you perform in a team. Another skill could be your analytical skills or your empathy. You know, how much do you empathize with the community, with other human beings, etc. So these are not necessarily the skills that you possess or you learn throughout your A-level program. These are the skills that you develop throughout many years of education. And yeah, you will be asked or interviewed in terms of these skills when you interview for medical schools. But at Newton, I believe that because we know what medical schools are looking for, so we put particular emphasis on developing your skills. That's why we take you guys, so we take students to the CREST project. We get them to work on a project to participate in the CREST award, or we take students on field trips. And for example, we take them out to a camping site where they will be doing research, but more importantly, they'll be spending time in a different or even difficult living environment with other students. And that's where we can see how students are like in that particular environment, and we give them the opportunity to develop these kind of skills. I have Usha. How many students do we take in for Newton program? So the Newton program has six terms or 5 terms. So they're both 2 years. And in total, every year, we're looking at about 40 to 50 students.
Okay, but what's your typical class size?
That's a great question. The class sizes are, on average, we have 9 students per class. So I think there's another great advantage of studying in a small program is that you're in a very small class size. You're required to participate, not just listen. And all of the classes are very, very interactive. So again, that develops your students' problem solving, competitive skills, etc., and team working skills. So yes, and in addition, our medicine students will have the extra class in medical ethics. But I have people nearby who had experience with medicine. I'm not completely understanding the question. I don't have anybody physically nearby, but as you know that I work at the INTU building, I work with many students and many academics in the Newton program, and not to mention that we are in a university, and at the university we have our own Norwich Medical School. So I have visited the medical school in the past. I've taken agents and students there. And like I said, our students have the access to the university level academic presentations and lectures at the medical school, if that makes sense. And again, as I mentioned in my presentation, that our students will have the opportunity to participate in an internship or the experience at the Norwich and Norfolk Hospital. Okay, I have another question from Usha. During the program, will the students be going through application procedure multiple times, and what is the success rate of first attempt? So I'm not sure if you understand that the undergraduate usually go through UCAS. So every student will have a personal tutor who will help them with their UCAS application as well as their personal statement writing. Now, at the UCAS application, students will usually have 5 different university choices, and we take students to different open days, and we go through the differences between all of the medical schools with the students. So we make sure that the students make realistic choices on their UCAS application, so they're not all aiming for the top universities and then they're likely to fail. So there's always a safety choice there, and every student will have a non-medicine choice as well, just in case that they didn't perform very well. And again, some of our students could be getting into places through clearing as well. UCAS is part of the program. So it's part of the support that we provide for the students. So we take students through the UCAS application from the end of AS. And like I said, in terms of the 5 university choices, we'll always make sure they make safe and realistic choices based on their performance at their AS year and their the UCAT and BMAT application exam results. And also, we always recommend our medical students to have a non-medical degree in their UCAS, just to make sure that, you know, they might not necessarily get in. But, you know, bear in mind, they are also very, very good degrees. So we have, throughout the 10 years of Newton running, we have a lot of students going for pharmacy, biomedicine, engineering, natural sciences, and mathematics, like pure mathematics at the University of Oxford, etc.
All right. Yeah, Steph, for students who've completed their medical degree in the UK, what are the chances that they'll be able to stay on and work?
For international students, it's highly likely because the so the medical schools in the UK are, they prepare future doctors for the NHS, for the national health system in the UK. So it's highly likely for students to complete the program, because the aim for the medical schools to prepare you for the program is to retain you in the UK to become future doctors. So that's why it's very, very difficult to go to medical school. But once you complete the medical degree, you are very, very much set. You're not likely to not gain a place to become a junior doctor, if that's, you know, if you understand what I mean.
All right.
But again, some of our students, I think some of our students would like to study in the UK, but then possibly to practice in a different country, in their home country, or etc. So it's very likely, and some of our students do apply to medical schools in other part of the world. But you know, as a lot of our students think, you know, highly regard UK education, and UK education in general is always perceived as extremely prestigious, and that they take a very holistic view in terms of medicine. So some of our students want to study medicine to better prepare themselves, but when they look for jobs and to, you know, careers, they might want to return to their home country, and that's highly possible.
Right. I know you run an interview when choosing students into the Newton program. That's part of your filtering process, right? To
Yes.
get the right students in. What exactly are you looking for in these students?
Well, it depends on the interviewer. I'm usually, I just like to have a chat and to have a feel about the student, the candidate. And I like to know a little bit about their education background. I like to know a bit more about their dreams and their aspiration. But more importantly, I think I look for the natural you. I don't, because I know some students were very well prepared for interviews, but I like to see the real you, the real student. I'm looking for the independence in a student because bear in mind you're going to a university to study A levels. Even though you're a 15, 16-year-old, you're going to university. You're in a half house based on a university. So we're not going to look after you like a boarding school, you know. So I like to know that you are independent, you know what you want. And especially if you want to study medicine, I'd like to know your determination in that dream. Bear in mind, if you're not so determined, that's fine, because once you come on to Newton, you might you could change your mind about what you want to study, because students at that age, they change their mind all the time, they learn different things, and that might influence them. That's completely fine. But if you are a die-hard doctor to be, I'd like to see that determination in you as well.
Have you met students who've come in with the initial intention to study medicine, but change their mind and pursue something completely different?
Yes, I think I have. There was a student who wanted to study medicine, but I think they went to biomedicine because I think she's more interested in the pharmaceutical part of the medicine. So in terms of because some students, or sometimes, I mean, even I don't think I would be comfortable going to a hospital and watch operation, etc. So some student might change their mind and think, oh, that's not really for me. That's too stressful in a way. And I'm actually more interested in the drug discovery, the research, and especially like we're living in a very difficult time at the moment with the coronavirus and hitting the pandemic, hitting the whole world. And if you're in drug discovery, you're helping the world, researching and discover a vaccine. And that's a fantastic career path, isn't it? And it's a great achievement as well. So some of our students are actually interested in that part of medicine and not necessarily a people-facing type of career.
Yep. All right, thank you. It looks like we've covered all the questions. What's your final advice to our students,
Final
our
advice
community here?
for all of our students here? Well, that's a great question. I'd like to, I think, knowing what you want and having the determination to pursue, it doesn't matter what you want to study, whether it's medicine or art or history, but I think pursuing your passion is very important. I'm working the job, I love my job, and that's why I think, I love meeting students. I love to know that I have made some sort of difference in their decision making. But I think it's very important that if in the future you will all be working, and it's very important for you to be working in a field that you're passionate about, because that you will be naturally excellent about. Do not pursue career where you think, oh, they will give me a lot of money, but I will hate, and you're not necessarily going to be good at. And I think once you're fixed on your passion and your interest, and the hard work is additional, and you'll be natural at it. And I think that's my advice for the younger generation.
All right, thank you very much, Steph, for being on the summit. Thank you to the participants for your questions. So that will conclude our session today, the last session for this week. Please come back again next Saturday, where we'll have more exciting sessions for you. Next week, we will be talking about how to write a winning personal statement by Lucy Parsons. We'll be also covering university options in Europe, in Japan, and in China. We'll talk about passion projects, and very importantly, there's a very good session about how to choose the right university for yourself. All right, so for the full program schedule, please visit collegesuccessmastery.com. We will also be posting the full schedule for next week in our private Facebook group. So if you have not joined the Facebook group, please do so. And that's it for me for today. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you again next week. Thank you. We are posting the link. Please give us some feedback on this speaker session. We'll leave the link around for another 2 to 3 minutes. So please take a little bit of time to fill up the survey. Thank you very much. And bye-bye. Thank you.